Hi, I'm Andy Bensley from Genelec, and we've been at the event today, and it's been really nice to see all of these different technologies working together with the same principle of PoE, which is really exciting.
So Andy, I wanted to ask you, this is the first AVoverIPoE event that you've had. Tell me about what stood out for you.
I think the thing that stood out was seeing all of these use cases and kind of how real world and how applicable they are. It's one thing seeing individual pieces of technology or individual endpoints on their own, but seeing it all together and kind of seeing those ecosystems exist and seeing them kind of perform without any caveats is really exciting. Feels like the format and is really started to mature and find its feet.
And of course, Genelec are going with the new product range that you demonstrated, going on almost into a new realm because they're well known in studio environments, but you're going into more AV installation. Tell me how you think that's going to plan out.
Well, the kind of response that we're having when we're going out and meeting clients is really, we're kind of taking the same principles that we apply in broadcast post-production music of we want high quality audio, intelligibility, clarity of audio, low distortion. This transfers into AV applications quite nicely, really. So if we talk about low distortion, what does that mean? It means longer dwell times. People want to sit and listen to the systems for longer. If that's in a hospitality context, it means that people are staying longer and spending more money. The sustainability elements that we've applied for many years are really resonating with customers when they're looking at deploying systems over massive facilities. So when we're talking about 100, 200 speakers going into a facility, the way that which we can kind of control and optimize the power consumption really resonates with them. So there's all of these elements that are kind of adding up into a much bigger picture, which people kind of find really exciting.
And do you find yourselves as a manufacturer working with other manufacturers on the development level?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important for us that we're kind of talking to the switch manufacturers, understanding kind of what they're implementing, what the budgets are going to be. I mean, because when we first started this project, we were kind of working with budgets of around 30 watts. Now we're kind of seeing switches that can deploy 90 watts. So it's really exciting to see where we can go in the future. So I think having these relationships and kind of just checking in with each other at regular periods is so important for the kind of progression of this.
So my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is at the moment you're not actually using the full 90 watts. So what's there to come from Genelec?
Well, there's nothing in the roadmap at the moment, but the logical step is we're kind of looking at larger amplifiers, larger speakers, because essentially all of our systems scale quite nicely. So if you need higher SPL applications, you need more low frequency extension, it will be moving into the larger models. Larger models will generally draw more power, they'll kind of need more amplifier power, so that will lend itself to kind of a higher PoE budget. So it's something that's going to be interesting for larger speakers, but also for subwoofers as well. They kind of need a lot more headroom to perform. So it's interesting. We're going to explore that and see where we end up.
And where have you seen these being deployed at the moment?
Well, we're kind of starting to see them going. We're doing a lot of commercial audio installs in communal areas, a lot in education. Boardrooms is a big one for us, where intelligibility and clarity is really important. Either it's a pair of monitors kind of supporting kind of Zoom calls, or with voice lift systems, where it kind of might be in a larger room where we just need to kind of add some of that infill and that real kind of natural reinforcement. We're finding those applications have become really successful. And hospitality, our ability to be able to produce our models in a number of different colours, I think it's 120 RAL colours, and you can mount them pretty much anywhere, so we can fit into an architect's design quite easily. And now with a one cable solution, it just means that we're not having to kind of be first in the design. You know, we can come in later on in the design, and we're not having to kind of rely on electricians being on site. We can be deployed at any point during the project, so we're kind of finding a lot of wins in that respect.
And tell me from your perspective, if I was a system integrator or a consultant or any kind of technical professional, and I were to come to one of these events, what do you think from their perspective they would gain from coming to an event like this?
I think the main thing is that you've got the ability to talk to the knowledge leaders at every stage, whether it's the kind of the network backbone with the switch manufacturers, or you're speaking to someone like Genelec as an endpoint. At every step of the way, you're going to have a kind of real insight into how these systems interoperate and how nicely they play together. And I think ultimately how easy these systems are to build, manage, and that ultimately means that the installs are easier and the customers are happier.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do you want to say anything else?
No.
Where do we find out more about Genelec?
You can find us at genelec.com. All the information's there.